chemical reaction. Okay, but first of all, let's remember what is a chemical reaction. It's a process by which some substance that we call reactants become in the new ones that we are going to call them products. Okay, what is inside a chemical reaction? We have the chemical formula, okay, carbon dioxide, water, sugar, and oxygen. Then we have the coefficients before each chemical formula that indicates the proportion of the number of the particles, 6 of water, 6 of oxygen, for example, 1 of glucose, and 6 of carbon dioxide. Then we have these letters here that indicates the state of the substance, solid, gas, or liquid, or aqueous solution, okay? In this case, we have gaseous, solid, and liquid. Another thing that we need to know is the direction of the process. The direction of the process is indicated by this arrow and always is from reactants to products. Okay, what is the particular thing that we have here? Then we have the same number of each element in the place of reactants and in products. For example, carbon. How many carbons do we have in the place of the reactants? 6. How many oxygens? 12 plus 6, so 18. And how many in the other part? 6 also and 18. And the same with hydrogen. So we're gonna learn how to do this proportion with the chemical reaction. Okay, balancing chemical reaction, we need to know these steps. We're gonna go little by little to understand it very well. So, here we have our chemical equation and is unbalanced. What does it mean? That we don't have the same number of, for example, iron in the reactants than in the products. Here we have only 1 and here we have 2. So it is imbalance. So, first of all, we need to put a letter in front of each substance of our equation. Okay? First of all, we need to write letters in front of each substance. Step 2. We need to write equations for every element. Okay? So, chemical formulation, it's very important here. Iron, sulfur, and oxygen. Do we have anything more? No. So we write iron, sulfur, and oxygen. And we write the equations. Okay, for example, iron. We start from the beginning. In letter A we have iron, yes. So we put 1A. Like in maths, the number 1, we don't put it. So A, nothing in B, equal to nothing in C, and 2D. So we write A is equal to 2D for iron. Then, let's follow with sulfur. How many do we have in A? 2. So we put 2A, nothing in B, it's equal to C, and nothing in D. Okay? And the last one, oxygen. Nothing in A, 2B is equal to 2C plus 3D. And we write the equation, okay? Then, to solve this equation, we need to give always the value 1 to the letter A, okay? And we start solving the equation. So, we solve the equation element by element. So, let's start with iron. We write again the equation. A is equal to 2D. If A is equal to 1, we have 1 equal to 2D. Okay? So at the end, we solve this equation and we have the value of D. Follow with sulfur. Write the equation, put the values. A always is 1, and now we have the value of the letter C. Then, oxygen. We write down again the equation of the oxygen and we start replacing our values. We don't know the value of the B, We have already known the value of letter C, that is 2, so we replace the value by 2, and the value of D, a half. We solve this equation, okay, like in maths, and then we have the value of the letter B. So now we write all the values that we have obtained. But what happened? We don't want any fractions. And how can we eliminate all the fractions here? Multiplying each number, each letter, by the highest coefficient to avoid fraction. In this case, what is the highest coefficient in fractions? 4 or 2? 4. So we multiply by 4 and we obtain new values here. These values of A, B, C, and D, we replace them in our principal chemical equation. And now we have our chemical reaction valence. Okay, let's see. How many ions? 4. And in the place of products, 2 multiplied by 2, 4. Good. Sulfur, we have here 8 and here 8. Good. 22 oxygens. 8 multiplied by 2, 16, plus 6, 2 multiplied by 3, 22. Good. So now our chemical reaction is valence. Let's see another example, okay? How to form water. So the first step is putting all the coefficients in front of each substance. And we write the equation for each element. In this case, we only have 2, hydrogen and oxygen. So how many hydrogen do we have in the part of the reactants? 2. 2A, nothing in B, and 2C. How many do we have in the part of the reactions of oxygen? 2B is equal to C. So remember, always we give the value number 1 to the letter A and we start solving our equations, element by element. So, hydrogen, we write down our equation and we start replacing the value. 2 is equal to 2C. So, we solve it and we have that. C is equal to 1. Then oxygen, again we solve our equation and we have another value but with fractions. What do we need to do if we have fractions? Remember, multiplying by the highest coefficient of the fraction. In this case is 2 because we only have one fraction. We multiply by 2 our letters and we obtain all the coefficients that we can replace in our principal chemical reaction. And now we have this chemical reaction valence. Hope you understand it, and any questions that you have, you can ask me.